Alright, it came to my attention that I haven't done a garden update in almost 2 months. A lot has happened, and we have harvested so much. My kitchen is absolutely overrun. Here's the peas. Didn't get quite as much out of this as I was hoping. It was a really hot summer. I think that these might be better suited over there next time. And then we've got our wax beans, which also did not produce the most. So some more have been planted here, and they're doing all right. But they're also getting taken over by the cucumbers, which you'll see shortly is a common theme. The okra is starting to do things. We've got some giant leaves, got some interesting flowers that I think eventually must turn into the okra. I don't really know, but nothing actually edible from these yet. This whole area bed, this little 4x4 here, was full of cucumbers. Most of the cucumbers have died back in this bed now, but they broke the trellis, they climbed this tree, they've spilled over into the area between the beds. We're still getting some here. They're climbing those, as I pointed out. And we have been just swimming in delicious cucumbers all season. And then likewise, spilling over, we have tomatoes from over here. Here, let me guide myself through. Here is just one of the tomato beds. It got absolutely crazy and still is absolutely crazy. This housed some sun gold tomatoes, which you can see some that are ready to pick right there. And these are little amazing cherry tomatoes that rarely make it into the house before they get eaten, and yet my kitchen is overwhelmed with them. One of the pepper plants that I popped in here is growing. There is some dill in here as well, but yeah, so it's completely, like, this little path right here is tough to walk through. And that trellis is utterly broken as well. We kind of let the radishes go crazy. It turns out that when you do so, this is what happens with the radish plants. And these little pods, when still tender, are delicious. The herb garden did pop some stuff out, I gotta say. Even though I've been completely ignoring it all summer, and we've been able to pull some of the herbs off of it. Like, this is obviously basil, and it smells delicious, and there was some Thai basil over here. Some dill that I harvested recently, even though there's still some big old pieces left. Fun fact, this part of the dill plant tastes like licorice. But yeah, we got this tomato. Delicious. More dill here. We've harvested all the brassicas from all three beds, which is why we're seeing the bigger, more barren patches. But we still have some carrots growing here. We have just one strawberry plant, which decided that it was going to do something after all, even though we pretty much gave up on this one, like these two towers here. This one has our Cherokee purple tomatoes. I recently cut this one back so that it's a bit more manageable, but just like how this tomato plant is everywhere, this one was the same. Look at this guy. That's a tomato right there. Look at that, that's wild. Rhubarb, doing fantastically. Can't wait to harvest it next year. Same with the asparagus, doing very, very well. Some of this is almost as tall as me, which not really saying much, but you know. I did harvest some herbs from this one not too long ago, and this plant flowered recently. We have been able to get some of these long asparagus beans. I'd like to give these another shot. The beans are like 18 inches long. They're pretty delicious. Here's one coming in. And then the tomatillos, they got tall but didn't really produce too much. Another thing I'd like to try again. Here's the mint. Harvested some of that recently. I've grown a love for petunias this season. Absolutely love this plant. I just noticed that this popped in. I'm not really sure. It smells lemony. I'll figure it out later, but that's new. So after our potato harvest, I decided to try the potato tower method instead of potato bag method. This allows oxygen to get in on the sides, and we have some potato plants coming through already. Got one right here, one here, this guy coming clear out the side. Exactly what I want. So I've got some in each bed. I planted some of the potatoes that we harvested from our harvest and some Yukon Gold seed potatoes that I purchased. Most of our corn did not make it. This one's not going to do anything either. But I'm not sure if I would grow corn again, honestly. We'll see. Now, the pepper plants, these have done quite well. They're kind of scattered all over. We've been harvesting peppers on here quite a bit. These were supposed to be lemon drop peppers. It turns out that they're like banana peppers, so I don't know. I was thinking about contacting the seed company and letting them know that they mixed up their seeds. But here's some Thai dragon peppers. Well, I'll show you some over there that have matured. And then some more corn that are ready to be ditched, I guess. Oh, big old grasshopper. Hi, dude. Anyhow. Multiple Thai dragon pepper bushes here. This one is so full that it's getting weighed down. This one is still standing upright, but for how much longer, who knows. This one's looking a little dry. More of these quote-unquote lemon drop peppers. They're quite delicious. They taste like a banana pepper to me, but I have a pretty high spice tolerance. So back before we thought that the tomatoes over in the other bed were not going to make it, I threw another plant in here, and now it is this giant bush. And there they are. So much for that. And these are just your regular run-of-the-mill cherries. I don't like them as much as the Sun Gold cherry tomatoes that are in the middle bed over there. This was quite the surprise. These are Pequeño peppers, which I didn't think were actually going to do anything this season, so I'm actually really excited that they have. Right over here is our watermelon patch. I feel like this guy does not look as big on camera as he actually is, but we're just waiting. We're waiting on this guy. I think he's going to be ready soon. He's heavy, and I've heard that if this is really small, this spot here, then it's going to be nice and sweet, so I'm quite excited. There are a couple more. There's one here and one here. I think that we're definitely going to do well, maybe not necessarily watermelons alone, but melons in general, because as you're about to see, we have a ton. So, in this one, this little patch here, I planted a bunch of Amish melon seeds. And here's one coming through. We've picked a couple of these already and eaten them. And they're also quite delicious. I don't know, they're kind of cantaloupe-y, but they don't look like it. I know that because this is what cantaloupes look like as they grow. Oh, this one flat out fell off. Shoot. Okay, well. But there's this one right here too. We got a little cantaloupe patch right here. And then also over the last couple of months, the neighbor's house got torn down and filled in at last. And then I don't actually see any melons over here, but I believe these were cantaloupes as well. They're starting to grow up the house over here. This whole patch got pretty crazy. And yeah, that is kind of how things have turned out this summer. I almost forgot the grapes. I have big thoughts for next year. We're also still making some attempts for stuff this year too. Here's how the grapes are doing. I've got this nice vine that'll probably be my main vine. I'm guessing. I'm only a little bit, I don't have a lot of knowledge on how this stuff works. But and this one too, the main vine. And this guy's all the way up here, loving life. This guy's gonna get ripped off because it's not grapes. But yeah, the grapes are doing quite well, better than I thought, because I didn't even know it was all the way up there already. And yeah, that's kind of how my garden season is winding down. But still lots to harvest, still lots to grow. We're thinking about trying out frost covers. Look at another one. I bet there's one here. Yep. Trying out frost covers to keep the season going a little bit longer. But yeah, that's everything. Cool.